Hello friends, this video on reproduction in plants part 6 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. And then the last mode of asexual reproduction that we are going to discuss is vegetative propagation. So vegetative is something, the name itself tells it is something related to the vegetation, the plants. So let's see what it is. It is a mode of asexual reproduction in plants. It is the simplest mode of reproduction in plants. So in this type of reproduction, new plants which are formed, they are exactly identical to the parent plant. In fact, that is a property of asexual reproduction. Correct? So here plant parts detached from the parent and they form a new plant. So a specific part of the plant is taken from the parent and that part can give rise to a new plant. Now, have you ever come across a situation where you would have seen that people take small branches of a plant from somebody's house and plant it in their garden, and after a couple of weeks a new plant grows up? So there are specific plants for which their specific parts are capable of giving rise to a new plant. So this type of reproduction is known as vegetative propagation. Now vegetative propagation can be of two types, that is natural vegetative propagation, where this type of propagation happens through the real plant parts, for example root, stem or leaves. So maybe you can take root of a particular plant and you just put it in the soil in some other place, it will give rise to a new plant. Or you can do the similar thing with stem or leaves of the plant. Now since root, stem and leaves, these are naturally occurring parts of the plant, that is why all these fall under the category of natural vegetative propagation. The other type is artificial vegetative propagation, where what happens is there are specific methods by which we can get plants, we can produce plants as we desire by methods like cutting, layering, grafting. So these are some of the methods in which we make use of specific plant parts, and then we do some techniques, we use some techniques in order to get plants of desired characters. Maybe you can actually have plants which have characters of two different plants. So you take some part from one plant, you take some part from the other plant, and then you mix and match the two in order to get a plant of desired character. So all these would come under artificial vegetative propagation. So let us talk about vegetative propagation by roots. So let's see how vegetative propagation happens with roots. Now, there are certain plants where roots are very fleshy and thick, and in fact, they are used for storage of food. So these kind of roots can help to give rise to an entire new plant. So let's see how that happens. So in some plants, buds develop in thick fleshy roots, which later when put into soil develop into new plants. So as I said, when the roots of such plants are kind of swollen, as you can see in these plants, whether it is guava or sweet potato or dahlia. So this is how the roots would look like. So you see it's quite thick. It stores the food materials. So buds develop in such roots. Now in fact, you would have seen, if you would have ever come across sweet potato, you would have seen how buds develop on them. So you see the roots itself can develop buds, and these bud bearing roots, when you put them into the soil, new plants will be formed because those buds will actually give rise to new plants. So that's how roots can help in producing more plants. So these are swollen roots that can be used for sowing next season. So now it is not necessary that all plants will have these type of roots. That is why only plants which have these type of thick, fleshy, swollen, tuberous roots, only they can reproduce by the process of vegetative propagation by roots. So as you can see here on the picture, this is how the swollen roots of dahlia look like. This is how the swollen root of sweet potato looks like. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.